Good evening, you are now with me, Henry, for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. SERIAN to have new waste management method to turn into mini New Zealand. Government MULLS on giving monthly cash assistance to lower income groups. And on world affairs, 26 people died in China building fire. At least 26 people have died after a fire tore through an office building in northern China. And State media reported that the fire at the 4-story building in Luliang City, Shanxi province broke out at around 7 p.m. local time on Thursday. And following that, 63 individuals were transported to the hospital, and among them were those evacuated from the Yongju Coal Industry Joint Building.
In a subsequent update, it was mentioned that the fire has now been successfully brought under control. Video posted on the Chinese social media platform Weibo by the state-run Beijing Youth Daily showed flames and thick smoke coming out of the building. The blaze broke out in a province that is the country's largest producer of coal. Industrial accidents which can result in fires often occur in China due to lax enforcement of safety standards. In April, 29 people died in a hospital fire in the capital of Beijing, sparking public anger as many questioned the lack of reporting on the incident and why the relatives of the patients were not informed earlier. Last October, an explosion at a barbecue restaurant in the northwestern Yichuan province killed 31 people.
The federal government has agreed on deliberate on giving monthly assistance to households that generate a minimum income or lower. And according to the Minister of Economy, Rafizi Ramli, this initiative will also include those who are jobless to ensure that they are able to break from poverty.
Kerajaan melalui Majlis Tindakan Ekonomi Negara pada 6 November 2023 yang lalu juga telah bersetuju supaya semua agensi mengenal pasti isi rumah yang boleh menyertai program-program yang disediakan oleh kerajaan dalam tempoh berbaki 2 bulan sebelum akhir 2023 dan diserapkan ke dalam program yang ditawarkan mengikut kesesuaian.
Rafizi spoke during the question and answer session at the Parliament on Thursday. Additionally, he said the government will continue to eradicate poverty through various short-term and mid-term initiatives regardless of racial and religious background.
A new method of waste management needs to be implemented in SERIAN to keep the development in the 12th Division on track with the Sarawak government's plan to make a mini New Zealand. Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggitan Suraman Johari Tunopeng said he had been informed that 4,000 tonnes of waste were produced every month in the division.
He said the new method could be done through the utilization of high-technology incinerators to reduce landfills and adopting a system to separate biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste.
We have to look after the waste also. Kalau SERIAN banyak gila rubbish, no tourists will be coming here. So we have to manage the waste. Jadi saya suggest that SERIAN dengan Samarahan, we want to get the statistic and the waste to be managed scientifically with modern device. That is what we want for the future. Jadi siklah kita makan landfill lagi, kita makan incinerator kah, and high tech.
He said this during the State Development Coordination Committee meeting, which he chaired in SERIAN earlier today. On the same development, Abang Johari said he planned to modernize SERIAN's infrastructure while maintaining its natural environment so that it could generate a gross domestic product GDP of 1.4 billion ringgit by 2030.
At the moment, currently, SERIAN GDP is 600 million. 600 million ringgit. Meaning we have another 800 million to go. Meaning, Nyam Pun growth must be about 6 and 8%.
According to Abang Johari, the state government had implemented a total of 80 projects in SERIAN worth 368.6 million ringgit, expected to be completed by the end of the 12th Malaysia Plan 11MP. Meanwhile, he said the SERIAN Division Water Supply Upgrading Works program, which costs 1.03 billion ringgit, could extend beyond the 12MP period due to accessibility and the implementation of other projects. Nevertheless, he is confident that the division is on track to achieve the mini New Zealand vision, an idea he had mooted by modelling SERIAN's development based on the South Pacific countries' core economic activity.
A total of 466 land titles under Section 18 were handed over to 377 recipients in villages such as Kampong Bengang, Kampong Batu, Kampong Siru Dayak and Kampong Gerunggang. This brings the total land surveyed for native customary rights NCR to over 1.2 million hectares since 2010. Sarawak Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan said, as of October 31st, 2023, 867,516 hectares have been completely surveyed, marking substantial progress in recognising and securing land rights for the local communities.
Tapi kalau kita gunakan kaedah yang dulu kita laksanakan, outputnya agak lambat. Jadi kita cari jalan, cari kaedah bagaimana kita nak dapat menukar tanah ini dengan cepat. Maka bermula daripada tahun 2010, kita laksanakan apa yang disebut sebagai inisiatif baru penempatan tanah NCR kita, yang dibuat secara dua fasa. Fasa pertama dijalankan kerja-kerja pengukuran secara keliling, perimeter survey. Dan fasa kedua, setelah dikeluarkan warta di bawah Section 6, mereka ada permohonan untuk dia disukat secara individu. Kita jalankan kerja-kerja pendukatan secara individu.
In addition, Awang Tengah emphasised that the land surveying process would be carried out on an application basis. He highlighted that submitted applications would undergo a thorough review, considering both legislative requirements and valid evidence before approval for the surveying process.
Okey, kalau kita mau tanah kita disukat mengikut program ini, kita juga bertanggungjawab untuk tarik balik daripada mahkamah dan buat permohonan. Kalau tidak, saya beritahu dengan legislasi. Tunggulah keputusan mahkamah. Jangan buat kerja-kerja penempatan. Kalau mereka mahu, ianya disukat di bawah program ini, adalah menjadi tanggungjawab mereka untuk tarik balik daripada kes mahkamah, buat permohonan. Kalau tidak, kita serah kepada mahkamah untuk buat keputusan.
He said this during the handing over of land titles to recipients of Tanjung Datu constituency at the Lunduk Community Hall on Thursday.
The hydrogen-powered autonomous rapid transit ART along Kota Semarahan line will pioneer the transit signal priority technology in Southeast Asian region. Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Douglas Ugahamba said this will enable the traffic to move seamlessly by synchronizing all the traffic lights along the way to be ready to turn green when the ART approaches.
And I was informed this is the first in Southeast Asia, and this is the product of local technology. Ini maknanya orang Sarawak boleh tahan juga lah. Come out with all this. So here's the picture so that you can see. So this is the transit signal priority guideline. Autonomous rapid transit. Because the idea is once the RT come that way, it will go straight. It doesn't stop in any of the traffic light, isn't it? So this is so they must make sure that all the traffic light will be synchronized, so that by the time it reach the traffic light, the light will turn green.
He said this to the reporters during his visit to the first semi-completed roundabout near Industrial Training Centre ILP in Kota Samarahan on Thursday.
Now, Sarawak will support the amendments to the National Forestry Act as long as they do not contradict with the state laws. And according to Sarawak Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Urban Development, Datuk Len Talib Saleh, matters relating to land and forestry came under the jurisdiction of the state.
Yang tidak mempunyai walaupun dapat kita bawa banyaklah perbincangan-perbincangan yang kita buat di peringkat jabatan dan sebagainya. Jadi bermakna ultimately undang-undang negeri lah will override parlimen. Kalau kita lihat dari segi undang-undang perhutanan negara, dia memberi secara prinsip saja. The detail is with us. Bagaimana kita masih mempunyai kuasa untuk melaksanakan.
On Wednesday, Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Minister Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad called on all state governments to support the amendments to the National Forestry Act, which were gazetted at federal level in September. He said its key improvements included tightening the process of degazetting and replacing permanent forest estates (PFE), introducing a public inquiry process before a PFE is degazetted, and simultaneous replacement of the degazetted PFE.
Embracing technology is vital in preserving and maintaining the integrity of Sarawak's rich biodiversity. Sarawak Urban Planning, Land Administration and Environment Deputy Minister Datuk Len Talib Saleh said the state recognises the positive impact of technology to stay ahead of conservation challenges.
Ia melibatkan value yang dijangka dalam 20 bilion US dollar setahun. Jadi kalau kita bandingkan 20 bilion tu hampir 100 bilion ringgit. And Sarawak government is committed to maintaining integrity and fostering effective governance, aligning with the vision to achieve the status of developed country by the year 2030.
Therefore, he called on for collective efforts and collaboration with law enforcement agencies, international partners and dedicated individuals to build a strong foundation in safeguarding Sarawak's natural resources. Sarawak Wildlife Enforcement Network, Sarawak WEN, serves as a vital collaborative platform uniting a diverse array of law enforcement agencies within Sarawak. Since 2019, SFC has been investing in the training of wildlife rangers and park rangers at Pulapol. A total of 90 individuals have underwent comprehensive training, with the latest batch of 30 rangers completing their training in early November. The training curriculum encompasses both theoretical knowledge and practical skills, equipping rangers with the tools they need to effectively combat illegal wildlife activities.
Coming up right after the break, several measures were outlined to address the issue of ticket prices for flights to Sabah and Sarawak. And on World News, China criticizes Biden's comment on President Xi Jinping. Only on TVS Nightline, stay tuned.
Without enough
Hello there and welcome back. Now, the federal government has outlined several measures to address the issue of ticket prices for flights to Sabah and Sarawak. Transport Minister Anthony Locke said several intervention measures have been and will continue to be implemented, including increasing the frequency of flights and offering seasonal discounts for both routes in agreement with airline companies.
He stated that the government will not be setting a ceiling price.
Kerajaan tidak berhasrat untuk meletakkan satu ceiling. Kerana kalau kita letak ceiling, syarikat penerbangan ini tak ada motivasi, mungkin mereka akan cut capacity. Jadi kalau kita letak ceiling, pada waktu-waktu yang bukan puncak, mungkin harga itu akan meningkat. Jadi kalau kita letak harga ceiling, dia akan mungkin menjadikan harga-harga yang biasanya, yang bukannya peak period, yang sepatutnya murah, akan menjadi lebih tinggi.
At the same time, Locke did not deny that the issue of flight ticket prices is a significant concern for members of parliament from Sabah and Sarawak. Therefore, his ministry would implement selective interventions.
Apa intervensi yang kita akan buat? Yang pertamanya, untuk musim-musim perayaan, kita galakkan syarikat-syarikat penerbangan buat midnight flights, fixed fare. Ini akan diteruskan untuk musim-musim perayaan, Tahun Baru Cina, Hari Raya dan sebagainya. Mereka akan
The numbers of flight passengers is expected to revert back to pre-COVID-19 level by 2024, having the current passengers recovered by 77.5% from January to September compared to the same period in 2019. Transport Minister Anthony Locke stated that the government is aiming for a higher target, which is at 87.8 million air passengers or 80.6%.
Pemulihan yang terbaik adalah penumpang domestik pada kadar 84.4%, diikuti penumpang ASEAN pada 77.5% dan 63.4% untuk penumpang destinasi antarabangsa yang lain.
He said this in reply to a question from Cebu MP Oscar Ling Chai Yu on the number of flights and passenger operations at airports in Malaysia have returned to pre-COVID-19 levels. Locke added further that as of September 2023, airports across the nation have handled a total of 62.8 million passengers. The Transport Minister goes on by answering another of the Cebu MP's question regarding punctuality that Malaysian Airlines achieved 79% on-time performance in the third quarter of 2023, down from 82% in the second quarter. As there were several beyond-control factors that contributed to flight delays, including issues related to bad weather and air traffic management. Nevertheless, Locke stated that the government via MAFCOM will take strict measures against airlines violating the Malaysian Aviation Consumer Protection Code.
The Ministry of Human Resources will ensure workers in wholesale markets are not discriminated against. Its Minister V. Sivakumar said his ministry had received numerous complaints of employers in wholesale markets not caring for the welfare of its employees.
Tujuan sebenar operasi pada pagi ini adalah untuk memastikan semua pekerja-pekerja di Pasar Borong mereka tidak menghadapi sebarang diskriminasi kalau dibandingkan dengan pekerja-pekerja di luar. Sebab saya ada menerima beberapa aduan daripada pihak-pihak tertentu yang mengatakan bahawa memang ramai dari kalangan pekerja-pekerja di Pasar Borong, bukan saja di Pasar Borong Kuala Lumpur, malah ini berlaku di semua pasar borong yang lain, mana majikan tidak menjaga pekerja mereka dan ini menimbulkan banyak masalah.
He said this to the reporters after participating in a joint operation held at Pasar Borong Kuala Lumpur on Wednesday. The operation involved inspections on 480 employers with an estimated 5,000 workers. The operation, according to Siva Kumar, aims to address complaints regarding lack of contributions to the Social Security Organisation, SOCSO, and the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, as well as unpaid wages.
Ini adalah penting Sebab dalam aduan yang saya terima ada nyatakan bahawa ada juga majikan-majikan yang tidak membayar gaji, tetapi kita nak pastikanlah betul ataupun tidak sebenarnya keadaan ini wujud di Pasar Borong.
Meanwhile, Sivakumar said that from January to October, a total of 1,654 investigations were opened for offences relating to payment of salaries, accommodation of workers and minimum wage orders, resulting in total fines of more than 4.3 million ringgit. He said that of the investigation papers opened, 357 cases were fined a total of over 390,000 ringgit, while 775 cases were compounded nearly 3,960,000 ringgit. He said the ministry and relevant departments are determined to ensure that there is no element of forced labour in the country and that integrated operations will continue throughout the country.
China strongly criticized United States President Joe Biden's characterization of Xi Jinping as a dictator, deeming it extremely wrong and an irresponsible political manipulation. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning expressed China's firm opposition to such statements, asserting that they are driven by individuals with ulterior motives seeking to sow discord.
这种说法极其错误，是不负责任的政治操弄，中方坚决反对。
Following their first summits in a year on Wednesday, Biden and Xi agreed to restore military communications between the two countries. Among other agreements, China committed to cracking down on the production of ingredients for fentanyl, responsible for the deadly epidemic of opioid abuse in the US. However, speaking after his meeting with Xi on Wednesday, Biden told journalists he still considers the Chinese president a dictator. This remark had previously sparked fury from Beijing earlier this year.
Rescue workers renewed efforts on Thursday to reach the 40 men trapped inside a collapsed highway tunnel in India for the 5th day, making slow progress as they began drilling through rock and soil debris. Authorities said they were confident that an advanced drilling machine flown in from New Delhi will speed up the rescue efforts, and the plan is to drill and create space for a pipe that can be used by the trapped men to crawl to safety. State Top Disaster Management Officer Ranjit Sinha said drilling had penetrated about 3 meters of debris by Thursday morning, adding that they had to cover a total distance of about 60 meters.
The machine can drill through about 2 to 2.5 meters of rock per hour. 2 of the trapped construction workers were treated for nausea and headache as they endured a 5th day confined to a small space behind the rubble. Meanwhile, Federal Deputy Minister of Road Transport and Highways and retired Army Chief V.K. Singh said there is electricity, water, and we are sending food. Singh said Indian agencies involved in the rescue effort were consulting experts in Austria, Norway, and Thailand, but did not elaborate.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And that's all the updates for TVS Nightline. I'm Handiway. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.